What's going on, you guys? It's Hitman Sports Media, and I'm back at you with another one. Now, lately, we've seen Dana White alongside Turki Al-Sheikh launching a new fight league called TKO. Now, with Dana White's involvement, I'm not sure exactly what he's going to be doing. Is he going to be more so a chairman of the TKO league? Is he going to be a promoter? Um, I'm just curious to see what his involvement is going to be 100%. But I do think there's going to be some good things and probably some bad things that come alongside the TKO league. The first being the good thing. I think the good thing that's going to happen is we are going to see more fights potentially where the best are fighting the best. Similar to the UFC, I think the platform there is going to be implemented into the sport of boxing. Um, I think we are going to see, like I said, more fighters, the best fighters fighting the best. And I think that's a great thing for the sport. And I think that's something that we've needed for a very long time. I think, well, I mean, it more so just depends on how it's going to play out. I can't make any assumptions saying that certain fights would have happened a lot easier had he been involved because I don't know yet. We're still, you know, yet to find out. But I'm excited to see how that plays out with just that right there, the best fighting the best. The concern I have with it is the elimination of all four belts and going to one belt. And I mean, that's been a talking point among boxing fans for a very long time is that there's too many belts. They need to get eliminated. And my thoughts are this on that. With the four belts, that opens up many more opportunities for these fighters to become a world champion, right? I mean, the climb up the ladder, the climb up the rankings could be a lot shorter for certain fighters. There's four sanctioning bodies. You got the WBO, WBA, WBC, and the IBF. Certain fighters may be ranked higher in one sanctioning body than the other. The higher the sanctioning body ranking, the more likely that fighter is to, you know, try to pursue the IBF belt or the WBC belt, so on and so forth. So with one belt, there's only going to be one ranking, right? So the climb up the ladder, we might see a lot of the modern day stars or the rising stars get knocked off. And that may be a good thing, that may be a bad thing. I mean, if you're a fanboy, you're probably not going to like seeing that. But I think that could be a good thing. But the only con I would see to that situation is this: the champion that has the belt, his career, I would imagine, is probably going to be not as long as it would be if they had, four different belts. For instance, like you're going to be seeing the best fighting the best, and that's what we should see. But if you're a champion and you're fighting killer after killer after killer after killer, I'd imagine that's going to take a toll on your body. We're going to see careers probably end a lot sooner than they would in modern day boxing right now. I mean, we see Terrence Crawford, who's 37, 38 years old, still champion, still fighting. Um, Look at Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he fought into his late 30s as well. So there's going to be certain guys that have that ability to do that. But I would just think that it would take a harder toll on your body if you're fighting just killer after killer. I mean, there's no easy fights. And once you get to the top level, yeah, there's still not going to be any easy fights. But um, that's just kind of how I see it. I could be completely wrong. We'll see how it plays out. But the other negative thing that comes to mind is right now, Turki Al-Sheikh has made, waves in the sport of boxing just because of the financial perks that he brings when it comes to promoting certain fights. I mean, we've seen career high paydays for certain fighters, and ultimately, I think that's what has made some of these undisputed fights, happen. Now, with Dana White involved, I would just hope that these fighters are still getting paid the same. And the thing that makes me think that it won't be the same is if you look at this UFC right now, these guys aren't getting paid what boxers are getting paid. The champions in the UFC are getting paid like the journeyman fighters of today, the gatekeepers at best. They're not getting paid like the champs in the sport of boxing. That's why you've seen Conor McGregor make his debut against Mayweather in the sport of boxing. That's why you see Francis Ngannou come to the sport of boxing to fight Fury. That's why Sean O'Malley has wanted to come into the sport of boxing and fight really any top lightweight, whether that's Tank, Shakur, or Devin. We've seen those guys go back and forth on Twitter here and there, but that's why these guys have wanted to come into the sport of boxing, because that's where the money's at. Now, I would hope that with Dana White's involvement, that wouldn't happen, but we're yet to see. My hopes are high, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Dana White tries to screw certain fighters over. I mean, I'm not vouching for Dana White. I mean, I don't even really watch the UFC too much, but I don't know. I think he'd bring a lot of attention to the sport of boxing. There's a lot of UFC fans out there, and if you just look at the sport in a whole, it's grown a lot over the last 15, 20 years. I mean, the fan base has grown a lot. I have a lot more, guys at work that are talking about UFC fights and boxing. You know, so we'll see how everything plays out. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this TKO Sports or TKO Knockout, whatever it's going to be called, do you think it's going to be good for the sport? Do you like Dana White being involved in the sport of boxing? Let me know what you guys think. Hate, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time.